Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today, presented by the Allen Law Firm, and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvelle. Coming to you from the future Home Loan Studio inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. Presented by the Allen Law Firm.
And week 5 of the college football season is in the books. Some unexpected finishes in college football. We thought it was going to be a much more dramatic weekend. A couple of the big boys, such as Alabama and Georgia, squashed their opponent early and took the drama out. Hi, everybody. Terry Norvelle on with the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. A lot to look back on, Coach. We've got to start first and foremost the Gators. Kind of a nightmare night in Lexington. Not a lot went right late in the game. Florida had a chance to maybe tie it and get that thing into overtime, maybe even go for 2. Just wasn't meant to be. A tough night for the Gators in Lexington.
Yeah, it really was, Terry. I didn't see this coming. Kentucky, they were 4-0, but they really hadn't beaten anybody. They beat South Carolina 16-10, and Chattanooga almost beat them. Yeah. Came in there, I think it's 28-23 or so. But, we didn't play our best. And, as always, looking back, maybe Coach should have tried to score at the end of the first half.
We'll get into that,
was a little puzzling to me. We didn't try that, but maybe the Coach Mullen didn't have confidence in that, little 1-2 minute offense that Kyle Trask was so good at last year. And, it had to be 3 or 4 games. We scored right there in the first half.
Absolutely.
And then got the ball second half and scored again. And that momentum thing right there, just you virtually never lose when you can score right at the end of the first half.
Well, let's keep it right here on Florida and Kentucky for about the first 10 minutes. Feel free to drop us Facebook Live comments. We'll try and get to some of those as we go. We're not going to forget all the other games that happened. Huge statement wins for Georgia and Alabama. Florida State gets their first win. I thought Tennessee looked good. Auburn, a really needed, hard-fought come from behind late night road win at LSU. A lot happened over the weekend. College football starting to shape. But let's stay with the Gators.
Yeah, let's go back to the Gators. We got to hope that Auburn can upset Georgia this week. Georgia goes to Auburn. Their fans will be loud and going crazy. And Auburn's got a chance. You never know. So if that happens, that could set up, our game with them, maybe for the Eastern Division. But again, we don't need to worry about that. We need to worry about beating Vandy and regrouping and really playing well and getting the habit of playing well for the rest of the year.
Coach, you've seen and played in and coached in a lot of college football games in general. I've seen a ton of college football games. I'm an old fart. I've seen many games where after the game, I pinpointed a loss and said, wow, it was on the offensive line. Every time I've ever said that, it was because I would say, well, the offensive line got physically whipped. This was different, Coach. I didn't think Florida's offensive line got physically whipped. I thought they were one of them, if not the main issue Florida lost. They got mentally whipped, Coach. I don't know if I've ever seen that. All those illegal procedures, Coach, and it started early and lasted the entire game. Have you ever seen that, Coach? And what's the answer? The clap thing wasn't working. I know it's hard to make adjustments in game, but what's the answer there? Have you ever seen that, number one? That many illegal procedures.
Yeah, that was unusual, and obviously, it's not the first time we've gone on the road where the crowd is very, very loud.
Sure.
And I don't know if we go on the quarterback's clap. Is that what we go on? I don't know.
And then there's a double clap sometimes.
Yeah, but what we always did is the center. The center, if you're in the gun, the center has to call the sad hut or go hut or whatever they say. And that way the lineman there can hear that a lot better, I think, than a clap. But, yeah, we did have too many illegal procedures, and sometimes you just got to watch the ball. When it's
Sure.
that loud,
Sure.
I mean, Alabama, when they came in the swamp here, especially that first quarter, they didn't jump offside.
Yeah.
So they've got a way of making sure they just use one snap count and go from there.
With all that true and the way it played out, it wasn't like they had 8 illegal procedure penalties, Florida, and Florida's offensive line in the fourth quarter. It happened and lasted throughout the game. Coach, I know it's hard to adjust in game, but isn't that something you can go over at some point on the sideline, even at halftime, and correct or add something, a leg raise or something? Isn't that correctable, even though it was during the game?
Well, yeah, I don't know exactly what, but I mean they prepare for that. They knew it was going to be loud, so and it's going to be loud when we play Georgia and
LSU in 2
and
weeks.
at LSU. So whatever we didn't work very well last week.
So a couple things that really stood out to me, I thought was on the offensive line for Florida, not physically. I thought, number one, I thought Florida, all the stats were dominated by Florida. It was I hate to say it, but a wasted, really nice defensive performance. Kentucky barely popped 200 yards. Do you realize Kentucky did not convert a first down, Coach, in the first 3 quarters? Kentucky's first third down conversion was in the fourth quarter. That was a winning defensive effort by Florida.
Yeah.
And, Coach, I saw the interception like everybody else. Florida got winning quarterback play. Emory played winning quarterback, I thought, Saturday night in Lexington. Your thoughts on Emory's play last
Yeah, he
Saturday?
played. I thought he played pretty well. He played not well enough to win as it ended up.
Sure.
But yeah, the blocked field goal.
Tough.
Return for a touchdown. Kentucky blocked one actually against Missouri earlier this year.
Okay.
But they fell on it instead of scooping and scoring. And this one, their guy caught it, I think, on the Kentucky
Sideline. Side of the line of scrimmage.
on their side of the line of scrimmage. And, man, we didn't have anybody could our kickers and snappers need to learn how to, fence him in, slow him down, and holler help on the way.
Yeah.
But, I don't believe our kicker and our holder had practiced tackling. So maybe that's something they need to work on. But that was a huge play.
And the ball did bounce right. It bounced right for Kentucky. It bounced right there for the.
Right. He caught it in midair.
Yeah.
And then took it to the house.
Yeah. I mean, it could have landed or went anywhere.
Just get him down. Yeah, just get him down somewhere.
And even before that, don't let a guy come up the middle and block the damn thing. Yeah. Be strong or be stout in the middle. They kind of got skinny and got by a couple Gator linemen.
I tell you what, you can't forget special teams.
Sure.
South Carolina blocked another punt this week and got a pick 6, and that's how they beat Troy. So you get a special team score and a defensive score of some kind, you usually win.
Yeah. We jump right into it. I want to thank, of course, our title sponsor, Allen Law Firm, ALLEN. A good way to check them out online, ALLEN, allenlaw.com. And also, if you've been in an accident or injured, somebody you know has been in an accident, unfortunately, or injured, contact good folks at Allen Law Firm. Easy to do. Pick up your phone, pound YES, gets you right through to Allen Law Firm. We're inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, of course, inside Coach's podcast room. We call it during our show the Future Home Loan Studios, 7 states strong, owned and operated by a great veteran, my buddy Robert Lynn. He's done a wonderful job over 4 years growing Future Home Loans. They're one of the best in the business. Over 2,000 5-star reviews kind of proves that. Thank you to a couple of our wonderful sponsors. You'll hear about more of our sponsors as we go. Staying with Florida, Kentucky, just a real tough game. Coach, I really thought Mullen, a couple of things, areas he could have helped his team a little bit. He and Hevesy getting on that snap count. Okay, we've talked about that. We'll put that to bed. It never got corrected the entire game. 8 illegal procedures, penalties. As it was happening, I want to be honest and fair. I'm always honest and fair here. I'm not always right, but I'm honest and fair, and I'll tell you what I think. As it was happening Saturday night, late in the first half, I was shocked that Dan Mullen let 2 minutes go off the clock on the final possession with 3 timeouts. Coach, my reasoning, and I want your experience to, my reasoning, in the first quarter, by the first quarter of the game Saturday night, I thought the personality of the game was set. You could tell 2 things. I could tell 2 things. A, it was going to be a low-scoring game. And B, there were going to be limited possessions. Low-scoring, limited possessions. Florida gets the ball, and I know they got it on their own 13 or 14. Coach, I was stunned in a low-scoring, low-possession game. Dan Mullen ate 3 timeouts and didn't try. That's just, I thought it was a wrong strategy. Wrong strategy.
Well, I already mentioned that, last year Kyle Trask
Sure.
and those guys scored right at the end of the first half, 3 or 4 times, it seems like. And you carry that momentum into the locker room, and I think it led to all wins. Now, he must not have had confidence that they could go up and down the field or whatever. But I don't know. Did anybody ask him why they didn't do that?
I think he double-talked. We can get to that in a moment as well. He kind of double-talked. I'm not piling on Dan Mullen. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Why didn't we use the no huddle and go?
Why didn't you? Now, if you didn't have – I will say this. We all saw the first half. It wasn't like Emory Jones was throwing wild, crazy passes. At one point, I know he was 12 of 13. Emory was red hot. He was 12 of 13 to open the game, right? So he was on target. That stunned me. Again, Coach, I thought you could tell midway through the first quarter, it was apparent, I thought, to anybody watching that game, it was going to be a low-scoring game with limited possession. Stunned me that Dan Mullen sat on that. Knowing, by the way, Kentucky getting the second half kickoff. Kentucky was getting the second half kickoff. Yeah, Coach Mullen had some issues. I'm not piling on here, but Coach Mullen's, one of his strong suits is not facing the media. It's not in his personality. Coach, you have always been good with the media, in front of the camera, behind the microphone. You have a feel or not for that. Dan Mullen, not knocking him, doesn't have a good media feel. And at times in these tough losses, that camera and that microphone get the best of him. He probably should have come out and said, I screwed up at the end of the half. I probably should have been a little more aggressive. Kind of triple talked around it, and that made people pile on more, I think, a little bit.
Well, every time we lose a game,
Sure.
when I was coaching, I would always sort of say they outplayed us, outcoached us.
Sure.
They deserve to win.
Absolutely.
As simple as that. And that's probably the truth. We got outcoached some games. And you go back and wish I'd called this play or that play in some of those high-scoring games where we lost by a field goal. So, that was generally but, every coach is different.
Yeah.
So he's been pretty successful, whatever he says.
And I'm not saying this is rocket science, science and behind a microphone and in front of a camera, but some people, even in my profession, have a knack and a feel for it, for the camera and the mic. Some people don't. That's just who you are. Dan Mullen struggles, I think, anyway with the media. It's just not one of his strong suits. I wish he would handle that a little better. And maybe if you are not great in front of the camera and behind the mic, less is more maybe. Sometimes less is more, not stringing words together, not really answering the question. Interesting. Coach, let's take a quick break here. Come back. Continue Florida, Kentucky. If you've got questions, comments, Facebook Live, we'll try and get to them. Had a lot of people, Gary and Andrew and Aaron and Kyle, a bunch of people checking in. We want to look at some of the other action around college football in Week 5. Very impressive Georgia win. Very impressive Alabama win. Other teams, I think, looked good and showed some life. I thought Tennessee played a great game. Big win for Auburn, that and a whole lot more. We're just getting started on a Monday edition. It is College Sports Today.
Ever heard the saying, all politics are local? I believe the same goes for lawyers. To me, it doesn't matter how many lawyers any firm has spread across the country. What matters is who's the lawyer right here, right now. I'm Bill Allen. I've spent my whole career fighting big insurance companies for my friends and neighbors right here in North Central Florida. If you've been hurt and don't know who to trust, I would be honored to help you and your family against any opponent, anytime, anywhere. Call me 24/7.
All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Louis Tequila, the official tequila of college sports today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Louis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development, go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Back here with the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. I'm Terry Norvelle, College Sports Today. Shane Matthews back with us on Friday. Thanks again. You saw all the wonderful spots. We've told you about Allen Law Firm, our title sponsor, Future Home Loans, our studio sponsor. You saw all the great sponsors. Sliders Oyster Bar being renovated, weeks away from opening up. The new Sliders, can't wait for that. The two Safe Harbor Seafood locations, of course, they are our pick sponsor. You see J.B. Coxwell Contracting, the best in the business for site work. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, based out of North Florida. And Vida de Louis, the official tequila of our show, College Sports Today. And, of course, you can get Vida de Louis here inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I tell you, it's tempting right now after sitting through that Gator game. I might need to order me a Coco Loco that has that great Vida de Louis. Coco Loco, one of the great beverages that you can order here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Plenty of college football to talk about. Other games will keep Florida, Kentucky on the front burner, and other games, including Alabama, Georgia. But a historic NFL game last night. Oh, yeah. That was really neat. Talk about it. What'd you see? Brady and Belichick and New England, a homecoming.
Yeah, I tell you what, I usually never watch the end of those games Sunday night because it's 11 o'clock or so, but I think I snoozed a little bit, and I said, dang, I'm going to get up and watch the end of this. So I did. I watched it to the very end. And when it came down to the end there, I told my wife, Jerry, I said, you watch this now. Tom Brady, his kicker's going to make it. His kicker's going to make the kick. And then when New England was lined up for that 56-yarder, right, I said, I don't think he's going to make it. And that, he hit the upright. First kick he's missed. It was a long one in the rain and all that. But the football gods love Tom Brady.
They really do.
And no matter what team he's with, because they love his preparation, they love his leadership and whatever, all the guys around him just play better when you got a guy like Tom Brady. And the football gods, I mean, you look back all through his career, usually his kicker makes the kick.
Yes.
And I was proud that Ryan Suckup, he was our kicker at South Carolina.
Yeah.
And let me tell you a quick little story. Ryan was struggling his first or second year there, and our golf coach, Puggy Blackman, came out. And he said, can I watch Ryan kick a few? And I said, yeah, give him some tips, man. He's struggling. So Puggy got him out there, and he got him visualizing, like a golfer. You line it up, visualize your shot, and then try to execute it. And I be dang Sucky, we called him, became a big-time kicker. I think he's been up there almost 20 years.
He's still in that league, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not 20 years, but he finished at 12, 13 years. Ryan Suckup is still kicking. So it was neat to see him make that, 45, 47.
He's had a hell of a career.
That one barely went in.
Yeah.
And then the New England kicker hit the left upright there. But it's always interesting to me that the analysts trying to figure out why one team won.
Yeah.
One kicker made it and one missed. Why can't we just say that?
So Puggy,
players on all the teams played super. It was a great game to watch.
So Puggy came to you, or did you seek out Puggy and say, come talk to my kicker?
One or the other. I think.
Those kickers do this now. They do that golf lineup kind of stuff.
Yeah, they visualize it and so forth.
Puggy got it done, didn't he?
Puggy was out there, the golf coach. Yeah, shoot. I said, yeah, go ahead and talk to him a little bit. But it's the same thing as trying to hit that golf ball straight. You got to visualize your swing and trajectory and all that kind of stuff. So, Puggy, I'm giving Puggy a little vote of confidence there. He's still up there. South
Did
Carolina.
Puggy help Coach Spurrier with his swing ever when he got a little loose? Got a little loose there in Columbia?
He gave us some lessons a few days. I didn't heed to him as well as I should have, probably.
No.
But, yeah, Coach Puggy's a good one.
Coach, we'll keep Florida, Kentucky on the front burner. We'll hit some more comments here if we get a second. Over the weekend, Week 5 had a lot of, on paper, what we thought were going to be good games. Some of them just didn't materialize because one team, see Georgia, one team, see Alabama, just dominated. Start with Georgia. My goodness, what a statement for Georgia. I mean, JT Daniels, a late game scratch. Stetson Bennett gets the start.
Yeah.
Georgia just said, wait a minute, cute little story in the nation, Arkansas. You're a cute story, and we respect your coach, but Georgia, how impressive were the Dogs?
I was watching, as we all probably were, that game.
Sure.
You realize how big those guys are.
Yes.
Line of scrimmage guys.
Yes, big boys.
And Alabama's got big guys, too.
They had a lot of those
And they can
behind
run.
the shot.
Oh, yeah, they're 320, but offense and defense.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say the other day, wrestling is a sport in high school, not much in college except Iowa and so forth.
Sure.
And they have weight divisions. My grandson, Luke, wrestled at his high school up in Columbia, and he was about 110, 120. He was in 10th grade, I think. And so he was in his weight division. He wasn't wrestling against 225-pound guys.
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference in football? When your line of scrimmage guys are so much bigger and stronger than those other guys, it's not a fair fight. Nope. And Alabama and Georgia, their recruiting philosophy is get the big guy, and we'll get him in shape and make him play. And there's a lot of truth to all that.
And it was also for a game to get that out of hand. It was a common. Georgia really flexed their muscle, and Arkansas, a little bit of stage fright, I think, and that the stage was a little too big for Arkansas at that point, right? In their development as a program, it was a little too big for them, wasn't it?
No, the stadium was packed
Yeah.
with the Georgia Dog fans. I think Kirby said, y'all need to come early and start screaming early, would really help us. So it was just a mismatch. That's all you can say about that game. Arkansas was never in it.
Never in it. They weren't. Very, very impressive win by Georgia. 3 hours after they kicked off in Georgia or so, Alabama at home, the 3:30 CBS game, really a carbon copy of the Georgia-Arkansas game. The thing was over really before the end of the first quarter. Very impressive performance by Alabama. I know that all they heard was, wow, Alabama's come back to the SEC a little bit, and Florida should have beaten them, and Alabama's not dominant anywhere, and this team went for 600 yards last year. Impressive physical beatdown, Alabama over Ole Miss.
Yeah, everybody got on that Lane train, including you and Shane. I think.
We lost that
Chris
one.
Doering.
Yeah, Doering was convinced Ole Miss was going to win.
Chris Doering said it for 2 weeks. Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama in their own ballpark.
Yeah.
But no, Alabama, they didn't have their best stuff against us, and we did have a chance to beat them, but we didn't. But they get better as the season progresses. That's what all the good teams you have to do. You have to get better this week than we were 2 weeks ago, and keep going like that. And sometimes disappointments happen, but you got to. It's a long season, and you can't let one loss destroy your attitude for the year. So the Gators got a lot more ball left, and we can make a really good year out of it. But the guys got to get better as we go through the season.
Staying with Alabama and Georgia for a moment. Obviously, half the season's over. There's still a lot of ball, and things happen, man. Things happen. You look up, like Florida, Saturday night in Lexington. You look up, you're in a dogfight, and the game's going fast, and crowds against you. A lot of ball, but I tell you, it's not hard, because this is what we do, to kind of look at Georgia and Alabama and go, man, they might go 12-0, 12-0, meet in Atlanta, and I know you're going to crawl on me for saying this, but if they're 12-0, both of them, and they meet in Atlanta, I understand there's a championship at stake. But do you realize if they both meet 12-0, 12-0 in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, that will be just a practice game. I know they're giving out the championship trophy. 12-0 Georgia, 12-0 Alabama, first weekend in December. a practice game because they both will easily get into the college football playoff. And I know you're going to get mad at me because championships are special. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, I completely disagree with
Go
that.
ahead. I know you were.
That thinking right there. Do you know there's every school in the SEC has a list of their champions through the years?
Sure.
Okay. As a coach, that was what I always said, man, if we can win an SEC, we have had a tremendous year. And if we've done that and we're in position to go for the national, we'll go for that later. But we played FSU the last game of the season. That's why it wasn't smart to emphasize national when you should be emphasizing we can win our division and win the SEC and then go from there later. And I can assure you, when we played Alabama in '96, we had no idea that we'd even have a chance for the national championship. It never entered my mind at all. And then a series of events happened, and all of a sudden we're playing them for the national. But to me, the conference championship is what people should talk about all the way until we get all the winners. Now let's talk about who's going to win the national.
Just the fact that I'm even bringing up they could potentially be 12-0, 12-0, and almost make that a practice game before they go on to the college. That's impressive just to think about. I mean, is it right now on paper? I know we're only halfway through, Coach. On paper now, I really looked at Georgia Saturday. They're one of the teams I didn't see a whole lot because the Clemson game threw me off. Is it right now Alabama and Georgia and then everybody else?
A little bit.
Yeah.
As far as size.
Eyeball test and everything? A lot of football to be played.
Yeah, they're the best right now. I'll tell you a team that I really liked was Iowa.
Iowa, good
I don't know why I thought Maryland at
I
home
I
had
took
a
Maryland
chance.
as well. You and I took that. Home team, Friday night.
It was a mismatch.
From
again,
the get-go.
the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
When Iowa was on the 1 yard line and they got in the power eye and ran the quarterback sneak 5 yards into the end zone, I went, man, these guys can win. And they can beat anybody with that dominant size they got on the line of scrimmage. And they are a big, strong team.
By the way, I hesitate to say it, but I think it's true. The Big Ten game of the year this coming Saturday doesn't involve Ohio State. Iowa, Penn State.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Top five. When's the last time the Big Ten has had top five versus top five, and one of those is not Ohio State? Iowa, Penn State, the winner there now is thinking big,
they're thinking big, and Michigan's still alive,
Michigan's still alive, sure they are. Michigan State thinks they're still in the mix.
And Michigan
Ohio State, defensively, if they can get a little better, their offense is finding it. They got that star running back, Ohio State, the Henderson kid. The quarterback's figured it out. Don't write Ohio State off just yet, but the Big Ten East is a gauntlet, man. You got the Michigan schools and
I would think the Big Ten should take one or two of those and put it over on the other side. But anyway, I think it's good for Iowa. I think Iowa will maybe have a really good chance to win that.
It's a game of the week next week. The top five. I think that's the night national game. It's not a great game weekend coming up, and one of the reasons is this coming week 6 Saturday in college football. The game most people thought was going to be the game of the weekend is not. Alabama at A&M.
Yeah.
That's the national night game, but that game lost a lot of its
it was a big win for Mississippi State, wasn't it?
Really was a good win for Mike Leach. That's one we want to get to before we get you out of here, Coach.
They really played well. And
hard game.
They scored 24 points, did not have to kick a bunch of field goals. And then
they needed that, didn't they? Mike Leach needed that. Mississippi State needed that.
Every game they've had down to the wire. So that was a really good win over Texas A&M. And they got 2 losses now. They're sort of like the Gators. We got 2 losses, and they're trying to regroup and see what they can finish up with a good year out there.
I don't know how much you watched Saturday night. It kicked off at 9, and I mean, I made it. I dozed off 5 or 6 times. I made it to the end of the game. LSU Auburn kicked off at 9 o'clock from Baton Rouge. LSU at points was dominant. At one point, it was 13-0. That was a hell of a comeback win for Auburn on the road in a messy, sloppy game. They hung around, Coach, and made just enough plays. That was a big win for Auburn and a big loss for LSU. LSU was up 13-0 in that game.
Yeah, Bo Nix scrambled around that one time and threw the ball, and I thought he was throwing it away, and all of a sudden here come a guy in the end zone.
Yeah, what about
ran
that?
right through it. But that goes to show you when those scrambling quarterbacks, you got to corner them in. You can't let them outside the pocket and this, that, and the other. And but Bo Nix is back in the saddle and had some big plays to help him win the game.
Yeah, Auburn, the 3:30 host team this Saturday, Georgia comes in 3:30. CBS is doing that doubleheader. They get the 3:30 Georgia-Auburn, the 8 o'clock, and it was already predetermined, Alabama at Texas A&M. So it's not working out from a TV marquee standpoint. Cincinnati, Notre Dame. Cincinnati was better than Notre Dame. Notre Dame, second half, made a little run. Cincinnati's a pretty good football team. Big win for the Bearcats.
Big win. And they can line up physically with
they really can.
Notre Dame. And they outplayed them. They played a little bit better. Their quarterback can run also. So, Cincinnati's a team that could be in that Final Four, and they got to win their conference first, and they probably got to go undefeated.
Yeah.
So if they do that, they definitely, I think, will be in.
They've only got one other ranked team on the schedule later. SMU is ranked like 24th. They're having a good year. Houston is on the is probably going to be the opponent if they get to their championship game. And Houston not ranked. They need Houston to get ranked. One thing that hurt Cincinnati when we saw the schedule come out early in the year, Cincinnati had Indiana. Remember how good Indiana was last year? Tom Allen's done a nice job. They had Indiana on the road, did Cincinnati, and Notre Dame on the road back-to-back. We said, wow, if Cincinnati can get those two. Well, Indiana's been a disappointment. Cincinnati won the game, but they didn't get the push from the win. Notre Dame's a good win, but Cincinnati needs one more or two decent little win. But they're going to be hard to beat. They're good. They're tough. Their coach is hard-nosed. They're good. I liked Tennessee. I think Missouri is really a mess. Tennessee showed me something in the swamp a couple weeks ago. The new Josh Heupel Tennessee, they looked, their talent level's low and it needs to get higher. They looked organized. They looked like they knew what they were doing. They looked like they were coached like you're supposed to be coached. Tennessee hasn't looked like that in 5 years. Tennessee just put a big knot on Missouri. Tennessee's, I kind of like what I'm seeing in Tennessee.
Yeah, Missouri has really been disappointing.
Really have.
We thought they would be, one of the top teams in the East.
Agreed.
But they certainly are not. And Tennessee, gosh, they had 49 at halftime,
At the
something
half,
like that.
Coach. At
So
the half.
it was ugly, and they just ran up the middle.
Yeah.
Nobody touched the guy one time.
92 yards or whatever.
97 yards.
Yeah.
So Tennessee, they got some ball players, and they got direction now. The new coaching staff seems to have those guys playing as a team.
Look, he's got them up here too,
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
know,
they're
and you're
playing
big
as a
about
team.
that. Up
Yeah.
here sometimes makes you, a 4 stars, a 5 star, 3 stars, a 4 star. Up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the coaching, developing the attitude on the team, and if they get some senior players or junior players, older players,
Sure.
to give that leadership that spreads throughout the team, then you got something good going. So Tennessee, they can win a bunch of them down the stretch.
They might need to give this guy 3 or 4 good years, 4 or 5 good years, because I think he knows what he's hyped. They just look like you're supposed. They look like they know what they're doing. They're not the most talented team right now. They just. And Tennessee football it's been scattershot for 5 years, 6 years. It's been a little bit of a mess. Yeah. Coach, I want to get to one more game before we get you out of here. We'll take a break, and I'll come back and kind of tease next Saturday, this coming Saturday. I picked up a game on you and Shane. I had a feeling I liked what they did in the second half, even though it was a loss. Florida State got a win.
Yeah.
I had a feeling Florida State was going to get that win. It was a hard-fought win, and it was actually a pretty good game. 2 not really good teams matched up. Coach, I ended up watching more of that game than I thought because Alabama-Ole Miss was opposite, and it was a blowout. It was 28-0. It wasn't pretty, but Florida State, I thought they were going to get one. They got a good win. They beat a 3-1 Syracuse team.
Yeah, they put, I guess, their third quarterback in.
Yeah, they put Travis back in, and
the kid ran and made some plays there.
Wasn't pretty.
The end to get the field goal. And I was actually glad to see FSU win one. They needed it a lot worse than maybe Syracuse did. And Mackenzie Milton, I sort of feel for him, but I'm glad his knee's back. He's going to be able to live pretty close to a normal life.
You think so,
with all the surgeries and rehab he's done. But it looks like FSU maybe got him a young quarterback, give him a chance to go play and see what happens.
Watching a lot of that game, the talent level, this is no news flash, the talent level in Tallahassee is low. I mean, there were times it was hard to watch because those two teams weren't real talented by Division I level. Yeah. But, man, wasn't a huge crowd, but the crowd that was there in Tallahassee and even the FSU players and coach, you've played on bad teams. I've played on bad teams. It's hard to lose. You need a win. FSU needed a dadgum win, didn't they?
Did the fans stormed the field?
I don't think they
afterwards?
stormed the field.
Well, the players did, but yeah, that's
They might have.
That's back in vogue in college
I
football.
saw that.
SEC, we have a rule you can't do it, but they forgot to tell Arkansas
And
when they
Kentucky.
beat
And Kentucky stormed it.
Texas, and Kentucky stormed it against us. First time in 35 years. So I think it's a 50,000 or 75,000 fine, but I can assure you every SEC school can afford that.
Absolutely. And, you know, FSU, you could almost see that monkey off their back.
Oh, yeah.
When that kick went through, you could almost see, we got to win. Real quick, Coach, we'll let you out of here. Am I the one noticing it looks like running the football's kind of reared its head back in college football?
Oh, it's back in style. It really is.
Hasn't it?
They were talking about Jim Harbaugh and what they're doing at Michigan, run, play action pass. Hey, that game last night between the Bucks and the Patriots, they were all running the ball here, there, and the other,
level,
throwing short passes and so forth.
Yeah.
So, it's and let me tell you what I liked about the game last night also, the Bucks and New England, the quarterback's under center half the time or more.
How about that?
I just think you get a better play action fake on the way back. You give that guy a little fake. Everybody's in the gun now and doing this, that, and the other. And I was guilty of staying in the gun too much, probably at South Carolina my last few years.
Gotcha.
But with the Apollos, we got under center, got in the I formation, ran straight at people occasionally, and it really helped us.
Sounds good. Coach, thanks so much for wrapping up this past weekend in college football. We'll let you get about your business. We'll get your picks. I think you're maybe traveling this coming Friday, but we'll have our picks contest. It's tightened up, boy. I tell you, Shane, Coach, and myself, we have a lot of fun with the Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week. That all comes up on Friday. We'll take a break, come back. I'll set up the scene for this coming Saturday, give you the schedule, let you know who's playing where when we come back on College Sports Today.
Ever heard the saying, all politics are local? I believe the same goes for lawyers. To me, it doesn't matter how many lawyers any firm has spread across the country. What matters is who's the lawyer right here, right now. I'm Bill Allen. I've spent my whole career fighting big insurance companies for my friends and neighbors right here in North Central Florida. If you've been hurt and don't know who to trust, I would be honored to help you and your family against any opponent, anytime, anywhere. Call me 24/7.
All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email. tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com.
Special thanks to the head ball coach. Boy, he never disappoints. He'll be back a week from today, and we'll get his picks for the Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week. By the way, old Terry had another good week. I've made a run at the boys. I went 7-5 this past weekend in our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks. Shane and Coach were 5-7. So I'm going to enjoy seeing the standings on Friday. Thank you to Future Home Loans. We are in the Future Home Loans studio inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, inside Coach's podcast room. I hope you've been over here. I know a lot of people from all over have made the trip, and people will continue. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill open for business, and of course, Visor's Rooftop Tailgate Bar is open. Great place, great menu, great food. Call ahead or go online, spurriersgridirongrill.com, and secure your reservation. That's the best way to do it. The Vida de Louis Tequila. Yes, you can get our show's official tequila, Vida de Louis, right here in Spurrier's. If you want a shot, if you want a margarita, and don't forget that signature drink on the menu, the Coco Loco. It's got Vida de Louis tequila in it. You will love it. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Allen Law Firm, Ocala and Gainesville offices. Injured, accident, yourself, somebody, hopefully not, but if you're somebody you know, your family member, friend, and you really don't know where and who to turn to, go to the best. Go to Allen Law Firm, ALLEN, if you want to check them out on their website. Great informative website with a easy consultation on the website. Allen Law, ALLEN, allenlaw.com is the website. Or pick up your phone. Very easy. Pound YES gets you through to Allen Law Firm. Also want to thank Future Home Loans, our studio sponsor here. Robert Lynn, the owner, a proud veteran. They have now expanded Future Home Loans, based out of Florida, expanded now into about 7 southern states. One of, if not the fastest growing mortgage company going out there. They've done it over 4 years because they do it right. Great relationships with so many lenders. The right transaction for your particular situation, that is key. Don't make a 15 or 30-year mistake. Contact Future Home Loans. Thank everybody, including Safe Harbor Seafood, J.B. Coxwell Contracting, Sliders Oyster Bar, 2 great locations. We can't do the show without great sponsors and viewers and listeners like you. I always want to remember and thank our podcasters, people that follow on the leading podcast platforms. But remember, make sure you podcasters, make sure you follow on Facebook College Sports Today so you get all the updates and previews of all of our shows. Week 5 in the books, certainly in our area and with our audience. The storyline: Florida losing to Kentucky. Gators 2 losses now, 3-2, scuffling around a little bit. You heard Coach Spurrier and myself giving our breakdown. If you missed it, our archives, our shows are archived. You can check out what Coach had to say. We spent about the first 10 minutes of today's show breaking down what we saw from Kentucky and Florida. We covered a lot of the big games as well this past weekend. Coming up, week 6 of the college football season. I can't believe I'm saying that. We head to the second Saturday in October. Not bad. It doesn't look as good as the games on paper last Saturday, even though some of those games did not turn out to be competitive games. Some of your highlights, games to look forward to coming up, and we will pick a lot of these on Friday. Oklahoma, Texas. The Sooners, again, a narrow win. They've had 3 or 4 less than a touchdown wins this year. Does it bite them against Texas? Remember the epic 4 overtime game last year. Oklahoma found a way to win. Spencer Rattler was benched in the game early, came back and helped lead the win. It looked like Texas was going to win a couple of times. It looked like Oklahoma. The Sooners and the Longhorns, one of the marquee games this Saturday. How about the get back on the horse, it ain't going to be easy game? This Saturday, Arkansas, after their beatdown at the hands of Georgia, Arkansas has to go to Ole Miss after their beatdown at the hands of Alabama. Wow, the beatdown bowl between Arkansas at Ole Miss. I don't like Arkansas's chances with that tempo and chasing Ole Miss after the game they had last Saturday. A game that in the SEC coming up Saturday, the winner gets to hang around and maybe start thinking about 2 or 3 more wins to get bowl eligible. The loser, they got some work to do. South Carolina is at Tennessee. I'm telling you, I'm liking some of the things I'm seeing from Tennessee. No, they're not a contender this year, and maybe not next year, but I kind of like the organization, the structure, the way they're playing. The Tennessee Volunteers, that is. South Carolina takes on Tennessee. Virginia takes on Louisville from the ACC. Auburn, Georgia, that's the 3:30 game on CBS. Auburn pulled one out. Man, it looked for the longest time, particularly I think it was 13-0 LSU at one point at night in Baton Rouge. Auburn will host Georgia. Boise State, BYU, a sneaky little good game. BYU, the last independent undefeated team. FSU is at North Carolina. The Noles, as I told you, got their first win last week. Florida State is at North Carolina. The game of the weekend, though, Penn State at Iowa. 2 Big Ten teams, both ranked in the top 5, not named Ohio State, go at it. The winner really starts thinking about having a big year. Penn State on the road at Iowa. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. Interesting to see how Notre Dame bounces back at Va Tech, a tough place to play. And Virginia Tech only has 1 loss. So, and then the game that we thought 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4-3, 2 months ago, we thought would be a huge game here week 6, will be a night primetime game, but the luster is off this one. Texas A&M will host Alabama in Texas A&M now really reeling, going the wrong way. Jimbo Fisher, tough break right out of the gate. The 5th quarter of the season, they lose their starting quarterback, who was their new quarterback. So Texas A&M offensively has had nothing working all year. Tough break to lose your starter, who is your new starter. You needed to get him in the game and have him play a lot early. And not only did that not happen, you put a new guy in that's not very talented. Calzada just is over his head. So Texas A&M and Alabama, who would have thought as recently as 2 months ago that this game would just be CBS has it at 8 o'clock, the second half of the doubleheader. Georgia Auburn 3:30, A&M hosting Alabama 8 o'clock. But that is how the schedule fell out. That'll wrap it up here on a Monday edition. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks again to Coach Steve Spurrier, who just took off after sitting in for about a half an hour and breaking all the stuff down that happened in college football. I want to thank our sponsors that make it happen. You know about Allen Law Firm, our title sponsor. Thank you very much. And Future Home Loans, to name a few. And also, we never, ever, ever want to forget our producer, Evan Miller, who does all the work behind the scenes to make this show happen. That'll wrap it up. I'm Terry Norvelle, back with you on Friday, the next edition, 11 a.m. of College Sports Today.